Hi, everybody. So I know it's been a little while, but this is going to be my end of the season wrap up. It's just been a struggle, and I had coaches cancel final games on me, blah, blah, blah. But basically, since the last time you've seen me, we've practiced a couple times, and the season's now over. And it was kind of an abrupt end in a way that was anticlimactic in a way because I really wanted to have the opportunity to play more games with this team, but that's how it goes. I mean, you don't get to choose how things go. I managed things as well as I could, and certainly I learned a lot about management. I learned a lot about personality. I learned a lot about how to connect with the younger generation in a positive way that isn't too friendly, but also isn't too authoritative. And so, kind of in this video, I just want to cover everything that was so rewarding about this experience, where I plan to go next with it, and just appreciate the beauty, the disorganization, the canceling, the scheduling, the communication, everything about this season. Anything that could have gone wrong kind of did go wrong in terms of our scheduling, the rain coming, in terms of the communication that was given to me as a first time coach about how scheduling was done, because the scheduling had already been done, was never sent to me. I didn't get any of the coach's contact info, and that's on me. I mean, I should be reaching out to get all this information. And so that's one of the first things I learned is people people aren't just going to give you everything you need when you start up a new job. And I think that's something that pushes a lot of people away from entrepreneurship, because you have to solve every problem yourself. And even things that are very simple to those people that do those things as an occupation. For example, I was fixing something on a car recently. Excuse me. Like, I replaced a fuse, and it's such a basic thing, but you ask the average person like how to replace a fuse in a car, I doubt that they could tell you. I bet 70 to 90% of Americans could not tell you how to change a fuse on a car. And it's such a basic thing, but I didn't know how to change a fuse. It was something that was so far, that's electrician territory. I don't do I don't understand electrical systems. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to ask yourself these questions. Okay, I don't understand this segment of the market. I don't understand this segment of product. I don't understand this segment of production, of marketing, of sales, of supply, But you have to figure this out, and you have to solve these problems. So looking for solutions and being proactive was a huge learning point for me that I've already started to apply in every area of my life that I possibly can. And so that's the first thing I learned. The second thing is it's not even about what I learned, it's about what I appreciate about this team, about the parents, about the kids, most of course. And that is just for them being who they are. I mean, it was so meaningful for me to go into this environment and be able to teach these kids, whatever I could. And I think it was so rewarding because I already have that natural drive to help people in terms of the human mind, and taking advantage of what we've been given in the terms of the human mind, that I was able to kind of observe and be challenged by the kids in terms of their emotions and their requests and their whatever, in a way that stimulated me to search for unique and fun solutions to problems. And I want to preface this by also saying how much of a problem child I kind of was. I was the kind of kid that would start losing a Monopoly, and oops, the table flipped over, shit like that. And so, just anger and aggressiveness and hatred, and just the negative nitty gritty of childhood, and I saw that in a lot of the kids, and I don't know where it comes from, because I had a great upbringing, and I couldn't be bothered with not being a little shit, you know. um but I used connections with their everyday life. I used, how can I say this? I made them understand that I understood what they were going through. Whether that be a relationship with people at school, whether that be between people in the team, whether that be actually playing on the field. You know, don't think that I solved every one of these problems, but I can happily say that I did something to help them, because I connected with them on a level that they could understand, and that they could appreciate that I understood, where they were at. And so I think that's, again, something that I really learned. And so let me just speak more about the appreciation that I have. In this world today, we are so overstimulated and stressed out, and there's just so much going on. And kids are, in some ways, our last bastion of purity, because they haven't been conditioned by the world in those ways that I was conditioned, that you were conditioned, that we all were conditioned. And then we grow up, and we assume these adult lifestyles, and we're out of school, and we have responsibilities, and all these things come into play. And so it was just such a privilege for me to go out there and be kind of what they needed, and for them to be kind of what I needed, in terms of a community, to relax in, a place to relax, and really almost be more of myself than I am with other adults. Because the truth is, mm, it's often, it's not hard to connect with adults. It's just, it's not exciting to connect with adults, because they have stronger paradigms of belief. And so it was such a privilege, because I could share my mind, and they would always have these snarky remarks to say back to me when I bring in probably a philosophical topic that's slightly beyond their years. um, and there's reasons I do that, right? It's not like I want to appear as some god in front of these kids by sharing these amazing concepts of the mind. No, I share them because I know that the human mind remembers everything. I know that the human mind does not forget, and therefore, when they need that piece of wisdom later in their life, it will be there for them to access somewhere in that unconscious memory bank, And so that's kind of the way I think about it, in terms of when I share anything with anybody. I I have the perspective that it's a long-term play, whether somebody appreciates it in the moment or not. I mean, obviously I'm not out here trying to beat up on people like, "Oh, they're going to learn from that later," like the bully at the playground says, "Yeah, get tougher." No, no, no. That's not, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not where I'm at, but I just loved putting these ideas into their mind, and to see some of them, take action by improving their energy, improving their vibration, improving their whatever. Um, and again, I'm just kind of spitballing in this video, because I just feel really blessed in a lot of ways, and it doesn't mean that my life is going great. I I I, I don't want people to get the idea that I live this perfect la la land, and that I'm just out here coaching youth sports because I'm free to do that. This life shit isn't easy. There's no stencil for any of this. And I think the more the more of us that can go connect with the younger generation through avenues like this are going to be more connected and more grounded. Grounded into the earth, grounded into spirituality, grounded into humanity. Um, it's just, well, think about it this way. If I lived, 100 years ago, I would have probably had a wife and a family by now. If I lived 500 years ago, I would have had a couple kids. Well, I guess a family is a couple kids, but the point is, um, we're kind of getting more and more departed from having kids and having families. And this, it's not even necessarily a bad or a good thing, but there's certain people that when you get around them, you just feel at home. It happens with elderly people too, because they've kind of lived through their life and now they're just kind of in relaxing mode. And I think in some ways that's what life is about, and that's what I want to do more and more, is reinstill that freedom and imagination of the child. And so in a lot of ways that's what was most rewarding. But for me it was really about how I don't want to say this in a weird way, It was about how honest they were. It was about how open, how freely they spoke their minds, I was the kind of guy that would speak my mind eventually. Like from the up until I was maybe 15 years old, I had some real trouble speaking my mind, and that was why I was such a poor student in a lot of ways. I never really spoke about anything. I just kind of stayed in my own world, and then I came out and started really speaking my mind quite a bit. And I was put down quite a bit for that by a variety of people, some meaning well, some not meaning well, and I think in a lot of ways that took something out of me and prevented me from sharing my talents with the world, you know? Um, and so that's what I'm breaking out of right now, because when I see the freedom of how these children express themselves, I feel that if I could express myself authentically with the same energy, not the same words, I guess, with the same energy, with the same passion, um, as I know I can do, and I have done many times. It's just staying consistent with that. If I can reach that level, I know that's the level at which I will start to reap serious rewards, because when you close your eyes and you dive deep into that expression, you find true beauty, and you find what you're meant to do, I guess. Um, and so let this video be kind of a place for you to relax, a place for you to come and say, this life shit is intense and stressful, but just for this moment, I'm gonna relax and think about what I've been through in life, and where did it all go wrong? What was that moment that really got you and really pushed you into that hole? And I don't think most people realize how deep of a hole they might be in. You know, I know for a fact, for example, that I could have graduated college in 3 years with my 3.7 GPA, 4.0 major GPA, and 2 different honor societies, and all the professors loved me because I was a great student and I participated well, and I could have gone and gotten myself a normal ass job and made a normal ass wage and uh, done some perfectly admirable stuff with my life. Built a family, took a couple vacations. The American dream. But that's not what I'm here to do. And I don't think it's what a lot of you are here to do, because this is the new world that we're living in. And it's for better or for worse, because we have more freedom than we probably think. We live in the most prosperous time, and I don't know if all of us appreciate that. I don't even know if I appreciate that, but human minds are being freed up to do greater and greater things. And if you are not interfacing with this world in a way that really fulfills you, then chances are there's something out there in the ether that's waiting for you to speak with it, waiting for you to ask of it, what am I really here to do? What really is my talent? And so let me kind of share with you my process for being more aware of that. I'm not saying I found it yet, but I've gotten some little inklings here and there, some little hints and clues, thinking about what I did when I was a kid and what that person said to me at that moment and what effect that had on me in my emotional life. I am really not an economist. Okay. Yes, I studied economics in college. Yes, I had a huge passion for economics growing up. But let's talk about creativity, because that's really the future. You can be creative in any field, but let's talk about, this is a deep one. Let's talk about emotion and expressing emotion. What professions really express emotion the most? Public speakers, actors, writers, people in social media, or sharing things online. Coaches are certainly a passionate, emotional, being a sports player. What's not emotional? I would say engineering, desk jobs, crunching numbers. There's a lot of non-emotional things, and there's not putting any of those things down. Um, but for me, what I found is that during my life, I created or had a paradigm or an idea of what I was, or what my family was, or what we were as humans. These ideas were planted in my mind, and for some reason, I couldn't really tell you, I got the idea that I was an economist, or I was a person that was going to deal with numbers and business. And I love business. I do like being involved in business, but it's become more and more clear to me that my purpose here is to speak, my purpose here is to share, my purpose here is to perform in a way. But that wasn't even in my mind until fairly recently, I would say. Because I have had very deep, I don't know if you would even call it self-image, but insecurities around sharing my emotions. Not sharing my emotions. And I want to be clear. I don't even think it's necessarily a strength to share your emotions as a man. And that's going to be a very controversial thing to say, but that is generally what I believe. I'm not saying but in terms of sharing my love, I guess you could say, sharing my passion, sharing what energizes me, I've been very not great at that. And What's a way to illustrate this example? Well, growing up, kids have boyfriends and girlfriends, and they go home and they say, "Mommy, I like this boy. I want to take him to the dance. I want to take her to the dance. I want to take her, blah, blah, blah." The truth is, I was always quite attractive. I always had girls that liked me. But what was something I never did? I never told my parents that I liked a girl. I never told them that I had a girlfriend. I was with some girls for months. Parents never knew about them. And one girl ended things with me because of this, and I don't blame her at all. Because it was a terrible thing to do. But it wasn't like I didn't like her, It wasn't like I didn't have the passion for her. But when it came to sharing with my parents, that's where I realized there was an emotional blockage in my family. That's where I realized that, because I was scared to share with them that I had found, you want to call it love, I found a girlfriend, I was scared to share with them that something beautiful had happened to me, something that invigorated me, something that made me motivated, something that I was really happy about. And throughout relationships, I've had trouble. I don't want to call it sharing emotions, but I've had trouble sort of bringing them into my life, And that's just one case study to illustrate sort of the minute things that you can look for in your past that are the psychological programs limiting you from realizing what you're really here to do. Because chances are what you fear most is going to be the direction you want to take yourself. Not always, but conquering fears is a surefire way to move forward in life. That's for damn sure. So you might as well take your biggest fear first, or start with some smaller fears. I don't know, just whittle your way, until you reach, where you want to reach. But yeah, I should speak more. So we take that case study, but then I start thinking about all these different tendencies I've had. One being to argue, win arguments. Something I love about myself. I'm a big debater, but that was a negative reaction towards the lack of emotional life. That's what I found, and then what are some other like little life events I could think of that indicated to me that like speaking and coaching and being out here and encouraging other people and whatever is really, and even like acting, modeling, and being an example of whatever, of beauty, of physical beauty, and just sharing that with other people. Where did I realize that was what I was meant to be doing? I don't know. Maybe I'll update you guys in the future more on that. This was a completely off the cuff video and it's gone really long anyways, so I'm gonna end it there. Super appreciate you if you made it this far, and I guess I appreciate everybody else too. Why not? They're kind of cool. Shout out Cassius, Big Dog Cassius. Shout out, helping me. Big things on the way, people. Big things on the way. Y'all don't know, but you're gonna know soon. You're gonna see soon. You're going to I think be pretty blown away by the things I have coming up in terms of I don't want to give away too much stuff, but got a lot of ideas flowing. Got a lot of positive stuff moving on. I think that light's my cue, huh? Kind of like this lighting, huh? God bless. And another big shout out to my team, to all the girls that came out and allowed me to be their coach and allowed me to encourage them and had a good time and just made this season an experience I will never forget. That's for damn sure. And something extremely positive and extremely inspiring and just meaningful. And I feel like I helped some people, you know? It's not every day you get to say that. Despite whatever job you might have, selling books, oh, I helped the person to sell them a book. But when you touch people's minds on that spiritual level, I guess, or I don't know, it's awesome. I'll talk to y'all later. You have a good one.